Hello everyone. As you can see on my screen, the topic for today's session is the type of blockchains. So if you are starting with a blockchain and if you are seeing this is interesting topic to learn about for your future, because there is so much hype around the blockchain and it is being said that going forward blockchain is going to be used in your day-to-day life. So this makes it very interesting and many people are trying to explore it into the detail and just try to understand that what blockchain really means and how they can learn about blockchain and the different concept which we have in blockchain. The very first thing which you have to understand that blockchain is not about some tool. This is a technology which was behind the Bitcoin, which is really currently going on, and that this is Bitcoin is not a blockchain basically. So you can't equate Bitcoins to blockchain because blockchain is a underlying technology of the Bitcoin. But uh, bit, the blockchain is not only for cryptocurrency. You can do much more apart from the cryptocurrency. That is the real potential of the blockchain, which we have to understand and which you have to realize the industry will realize soon, and they are trying to explore some other concept and feature of blockchain. And there are many POCs currently going on blockchain. So that makes this very interesting, and this is people are going to explore this more in the detail going forward. And this is the growth period for the blockchain, and it will get mature with time. It is not mature yet enough so that industry can start using. Some industry has used this one for their proof of concept, and some has implemented some solutions, but this is not mature yet, so that it can be used for full-fledged solutions. So the topic for today's discussion is the type of blockchains which we have. So if you're starting with blockchain, if you're trying to understand that, okay, how many type of blockchain I can have, so this is the session for you. So at high level, let me show you. So this is a blog also. In case you are interested to read about in the text format, you can go to this link, which is tutorialsstudy.com type of blockchains. So which talk about in the detail about the different kind of blockchains which we have. So this is not specific to Bitcoin or Ethereum or multi-chain or Corda or anything. So this is talking about in general what type of blockchain technologies you can have and what kind of chains you can have in a right now. So at very high level, as you can see, we are talking about two blockchains. Okay, the one blockchain is known as public blockchain. The other one is known as private blockchain. So the public blockchain sometimes is also known as permissionless blockchain, and the private is also known as permissioned blockchain. So this is at very high level. We have two type of blockchain, public and private. So we have to really understand the difference between two before you really jump to the blockchain concept and start doing the development, because this is very basic concept which you should know. So let's try to go deep about this concept here. So when we talk about public blockchain, so when we say public, as the name suggests, so this is public. Anyone can join a public blockchain. So before I jump to, let me give you an example. There are two main examples for public blockchain, which is Bitcoin and Ethereum. So when you talk about Bitcoin, there are around 30,000 nodes right now all over the world. For Ethereum, around 60,000 nodes. So what that mean actually? So that means 30,000 people or organization has been connected to the Bitcoin blockchain, and around 16,000 organization or the people are connected to Ethereum. So that means when we talk about public blockchain, anyone like you people can also go ahead and connect to that Bitcoin or Ethereum blockchain from your system. No one will stop you. Okay, you can read the information which you have on this blockchain, or whatever information is lying on the blockchain, you can read. Okay, we'll not go in the detail about how you can read, what function you have to build, and what kind of APIs you have to use. But just remember, for now, you people can go and join the network and read the information which is lying on the blockchain. You can append the information. When we say write here, write means that you can add the information on a blockchain. Okay, so when you write some information on a blockchain, you have to pay some amount. You have to spend some dollar amount from your side. This is not a free of cost. There is one thing which you have to which you have to understand, which you maybe get familiar as we go along in the blockchain concept. So whenever you are reading some information from a blockchain that is free of cost, anyone can read the information. But if you want to write, you can write as a person to a public blockchain, but you need to pay some dollar amount. That avoid the spamming. So if you're spending some dollar amount to write, then you will write only the information which you need, not the other informations. So that is a very basic idea about public blockchain. Anyone can join, read and write the information on a blockchain, and that makes this blockchain as a really distributed and decentralized. When we talk about the blockchain concept, the very first thing comes into our mind is this is a distributed and decentralized network. So public blockchains are really distributed and decentralized network. Okay, now you people may have a question that now since public blockchain allows anyone to come and access the information, then how the security will be maintained? So all public blockchain maintain security. They use different algorithms to maintain security. Some use asymmetric cryptography, where we have public and private keys, which will be used to make your information secured, for encryption, for signing, and other concept. So in case you are wondering about security, so all the blockchains are very much secure. Your information will be secured, because if you go to any Bitcoin or Ethereum scanner, any the Explorer which we have for this two blockchain, you will not be able to identify that who is transferring the money. You can identify the transactions, okay, that okay, one Ether has been transferred from account 1 to account 2, but you will not be able to identify that this account 1 belongs to whom. It belongs to you, myself, or anyone else. And the other information is also very much secure, which will not go in the detail in this session. So public blockchain is secure, and you need not to worry about the security here, because this is the main features which we have in a blockchain. Okay, so this is an example we have talked about Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now when we talk about private blockchain is a permissioned blockchain, as we just mentioned before. So what that means, so in this one, this is not open to public. No one can join network. Okay, so suppose we 4 people combine together and we build a network from our side. So these private or permission blockchains are mainly used for enterprise. So when we talk about enterprises, they don't want to have a public blockchain, because the business information which they have, they don't want to expose to public, right? So in case you talk about a supply chain network, there are multiple parties involved. We have manufacturers, we have shipper, we have quality person. So they don't want to have an outsider come to their network and access the information to the competition currently going on. So what the people do, some organization come together, they build their own network. So that is known as permission network, where participants are known to each other, right? So I know that, okay, I have 4 members in my network right now, and who is that 5 members. But in public it's reverse. You really don't know, like how many, what other member name and address and other information. But in private, you know the identity, which is the difference mainly. So no one will allow to participate in a private blockchain until unless that person or organization is authorized. So this is the main difference. Okay, so the example is Hyperledger Fabric. So under Hyperledger you have different frameworks. So you have Fabric, you have Europa, you have Sathu, and other ones. So Hyperledger is mainly from IBM. So this is mainly used to build your private or permission blockchain. And Bitcoin and Ethereum is a public example, a public blockchain example. Now when we talk about the benefits, so we have talked about some benefits in the previous discussion. So when we talk about public, as I just mentioned, this is open for everyone. So this makes your if you want to explore, you can join the public network basically, like Bitcoin or Ethereum. you need to join the live network. We do have a test network as well. For Ethereum, you have 3 test network which you can join and explore and do some development from your side, which is open for everyone, right? That is a major benefit which we'll get from public blockchain. So this is really distributed and decentralized. The main concept of blockchain is really implemented in a public blockchain. That is the main concept here, that anyone can come and access. There is no central authority here, because there are 1 lakh people can come and join a network. You will not stop them, right? So the main thing is that there are trust maintained between unknown parties. And when we talk about Bitcoin blockchain, there are 30,000 nodes which are unknown to each other. So still the trust is maintained by using the consensus. We have different kind of algorithms which we have. So mainly the most popular is proof of work, which is being used to maintain the trust, to make sure that whatever transaction they are adding, it is valid and it is foolproof. So that is the major thing which we have in public. So unknown parties are there and trust is maintained between them, right? So in the public blockchain, all the nodes, like 30,000 nodes, validate a transaction, not only few nodes, right? So that makes it more secure, more foolproof, more error proof, because all the participants are validating the transaction, not only few, right? So these are a few benefits which we'll get from public blockchain. There may be many which may have not been noted down here, but this is a very high level benefits which we'll get from private blockchain, public blockchain. When we talk about private here, so private is opposite. So this is best when we use for any organization level. So because organization don't want to have a public blockchain, so when we need some sort of security, a privacy is needed within the organizations, then this is best suited. Okay, so because here only trusted member can join. So in a public blockchain, to reach to consensus, to maintain a trust, you have to spend a lot of electricity. You have to spend a lot of manpower, not manpower basically. You have to use spaces. Like if you go with the proof of work consensus, that is a major drawback. It is not environment friendly because you have to spend a lot of electricity to come to one solution to solve a problem. So proof of work consensus which we use in a public blockchain is heavy. Okay, but in this case of private, since the parties are known to each other, so the consensus algorithms are not so much heavy. So you can use some light consensus algorithms. Okay, and the kind of which we say the performance of the private is much more higher as compared to public. Because I just mentioned, right, in a public you have to reach to consensus. You have all, like out of 30,000 nodes, at least 16,000 nodes comes to one conclusion. Okay, that 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Then only it will get added to a blockchain. But in case of private, there are only few people, right? There are only 4 or 5 or 10 people only in a network. So the performance becomes very high, and the algorithm is not a proof of work in case of private blockchains. Okay, so this is a few things, and the third and other thing which I note down here is channels. There is a concept of channels in a Hyperledger which you can use to maintain a secret transaction as well. In a public, there is no secret transaction, but in private, you can create sub-private transactions. So you can say about, okay, in a supply chain, you have suppose 5 parties on board. So you will have one channel which will have all the 5 parties. Or you can have some other channels where you have only 2 parties or 3 parties, right? So if I'm giving a discount to someone, I want to have that information with that partner only, not with other partners, right? So I will create a separate channel for my partner 1 to whom I'm giving a discount, not with the other partners. So there is a concept of channels which we have in a private permission blockchains, the Hyperledger. That is based on the requirement which you have, and you can also integrate with other systems very easily because the Hyperledger give you one APIs which you can use and call from other systems as well very easily. So there are a few differences, there are a few benefits, but in nutshell, you have to make a choice. So first of all, you have to identify your choice, your requirement. You have to see your requirement, that okay, what requirement I have. So based upon that requirement, you have to identify that okay, which blockchain suits me best. Okay, not all solution will go on a public or private. That is based upon need. What kind of requirement do you have? Do you want to have a consortium network where the participants are known to each other? You will go to public and permission blockchain for sure. So there are a few aspects, though I will just try to cover at very high level the difference and the few benefits. And hopeful that you like this video and you may have some idea now about the different blockchains which we have right now currently going on. Thanks for watching.